is Monday, March 25th, 2024, and the time is 3:39 p.m. Counselors, have you had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting? Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes from the last meeting have passed. Next is consideration of the consent agenda. Counselors, do you have any items you'd like to place on consent?
Yes.
Counselor-
Yes,
Counselor
ma'am.
Abbott.
The first one would be item 4 on page 1. Then item 7 on page 2. Then item 9 on page 3. Item 11 on page 4. I guess there's one per page. On page 5, item 14. On page 6, item 16. On page 7, item 19. And page 8 doesn't have one.
Madam Pro Tem,
I'm in agreement.
if you guys are okay with, I want to hear about the Restore program, so that's item 11, if that's okay.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, item 14 and 17 have been withdrawn.
And if you'll reread those, then I'll move that we.
Yes. Mhm. Okay, hold on a second. So that's item 4 on page 1, item 7 on page 2, item 11, no, sorry, item 9 on page 3, item 14 was withdrawn on page 5. Item 16 is on consent on page 6. Item 17 is withdrawn. And then item 19 on page 7.
Move the items.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. The consent agenda has passed. If your item was placed on the consent agenda, you may enjoy this sunny and beautiful afternoon. Otherwise, the first item will be called, and that's item number 5. Chief, is there anybody here to speak to item number 5?
Yes, ma'am. IMS, of course, is sort of tied up right now. But background information on this item, I think Keith Sheffield, if you can help us out with this one. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Wendy Hicks.
Okay, so this is a third amendment to the agreement with the Alethea House to update the scope of services and the funding amount by $150,000 and the amount not to exceed $1,637,244. They will provide additional application intake, screening, and case management services. Okay.
Move the item.
Second.
Good evening. I want to make one correction. This is the Fifth Amendment instead of the Third Amendment.
Okay.
And I'm Wendy Hicks, and I serve as Deputy Director in Community Development at Public Services and Grants. This item is to extend the contract with Alethea House to do a closeout to our emergency rental assistance program.
Can you move the microphone down a little? Thank you.
Okay. Counselors, do you have any questions? Counselor Abbott?
I do. I just, so we still have people who can't pay their rent that are applying anew?
So this right here is the closeout for the emergency rental assistant. And so Alethea House is doing some closeout services for us, and that's what this is covering. We are no longer taking applications for rental assistance.
Okay, because it says they're going to provide additional application intake, so I thought.
That's only if it's needed. We had some funds, but at this point in time, they're not taking any more applications.
Okay. And I wanted to ask, how much, is the funding basically almost gone? And we won't be helping anyone with their rent payments anymore?
Yes, the funding's almost gone. We are doing housing stabilization services at this point.
Which means,
We are looking at potential projects to use those funds, those additional funds in different manners to keep homes stabilized, as opposed to just paying rental assistance.
okay, like roofing and things that will keep
Yes.
people in their homes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Hicks, and Councilor Abbott for asking those questions, because I just wanted to have clarification, because the way it read, it did make me think we had additional funds, and we might be servicing clients who had not gone through the program. So when you say stabilization, this would probably mean clients who've gone through the process before, and now we find we could go back and help them in some way, or just give me one example.
It's like one big project. So we're looking to, we roughly have about $1 million left. And so we're looking to fund one big major project with that, and it can help in support of our housing services. So that could be anything from roofing services, that could be anything from construction, some small loans to individuals, that can be infrastructure of a public housing building that we can make changes to have additional housing.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I don't have any questions, so there's a motion. Are you one more?
I have
Council Abbott, I'm
one
so
more
sorry.
question that I just thought of, and that is, okay, this was the rental assistance program. So if someone's in a rental unit that's falling apart, would y'all provide funding to fix the rental unit, or is this for home ownership units that need stabilizing?
It could be used for either or. The Department of Treasury is lenient with that, so we can use it for individuals who have mortgages as well as rental, who paid rent.
You're the first person who ever said that the federal government was lenient with anything. I think they have to write this down. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. The item passes. Thank you. Next item is item number 6. Now we're there, Chief. This is a master lease agreement, 100-572-9969-001. Data on or about September 29th, 2021, between the City of Birmingham and PC Connection Sales Corporation, known as Connection, under which Connection shall work to replace the networking components that connect the internet, data, and voice communication across the City of Birmingham for a term not to exceed 3 years in an amount not to exceed $188,741.77.
Good afternoon, I'm Keith Sheffield. I serve in the Office of the City Attorney. I'm here on behalf of IMS. They're obviously very busy right now. But what you have before you is something you've seen in the past. We initiated it at the onset of COVID, actually. It's a master lease agreement with Connection Financial Services to provide funding in order for us to make a purchase from PC Connection, which we have awarded a bid to, for the purchase of hardware and maintenance services. This actual schedule, it relates to fire stations around the city. We're just doing a refurbish, restore on outdated equipment that can no longer is under services. So it just needs to be upgraded. And this is part of our kind of normal process of that.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Attorney Sheffield. Appreciate you saying the exact facilities, or who would this be? Because with the amount, I thought it can't be across the entire, all of us within the city. So this is primarily, you said, with the fire stations, and this is upgrade of equipment or refurbishing of different items?
Outdated equipment, yes, ma'am.
Outdated equipment, okay.
And
thank
the
you.
related services that go with that.
Okay, thank you. That's all my question.
Okay, Council Abbott?
Yeah, and the only question I have is, it all the city's fire stations or only certain fire stations?
My understanding is it's certain fire stations, but we would have to confirm that with IMS, but we can do that and get that information to you.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just wondered if they were going to blanket replace everything that the fire stations have throughout the city, or whether it was just ones that were having issues.
My understanding is it's on a rotation, so when they become out of date, that's when it's replaced. So if there were, newer equipment at other stations, obviously they wouldn't be on that same replacement cycle.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that item passes. Next item is item number 8, and this is for the city to make an application, receive, and expend grant funding from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, for its climate pollution reduction grants program in the amount of $10 million to convert a portion of the city's rolling stock to electric vehicles, install EV chargers, develop an e-bike rebate program, and develop complete street conversion adjacent to Railroad Park, and develop a plan for transit-oriented development locations with no matching funds due from the city.
Good afternoon. My name is Tim Gambrell. I serve as the Chief Planner for the City of Birmingham. As mentioned, this is part of the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant Program from EPA. Last year, the city received a grant from EPA called the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant, which will create a climate action plan for the entire MSA by the fall of 2025. In the interim, EPA asked for cities participating in this program to complete something known as a PCAP, or a Priority Climate Action Plan. It focused on one sector of the climate action plan. We chose transportation to focus on, and we completed that plan on March 31st. Within that plan, there were climate or greenhouse gas reduction strategies that were included in that, and those reduction strategies then became available for an implementation grant, which we are currently writing and applying for on April 1st. That grant is the grant that will actually ask for dollars to implement some of those reduction strategies. And the 4 reduction strategies that we're including in our grant process are converting a portion of the city's rolling stock to electric vehicles with charging stations. This grant would ask for money, I think about $6.9 million approximately, to replace 160 vehicles within the city fleet to electric vehicles. At the same time, purchase 40 charging stations that would be utilized to charge those vehicles. All these vehicles would be located at Public Works facilities. And then secondly, we would ask for about $1.5 million to create an e-bike rebate program to incentivize people to utilize electric bicycles to make trips around town. That program would be operated by a third-party vendor who would actually disseminate the rebates to local bicycle shops. They would be limited to only purchasing e-bike vehicles that are used for commuting. You wouldn't be able to buy a mountain bike that's electric or something like that. You'd have to buy a vehicle that somebody would typically use for commuting. That rebate program would be scalable to income so that people with lower incomes would be able to access the vehicles more readily. Thirdly, there is about $500,000 in the grant that would be utilized to develop a transit-oriented development plan for the city so that we could identify locations along Birmingham Express and other principal transit lines that are best suited for TOD development in the future, where we could create more density around transit, support transit better, and to create more walkable, kind of sustainable city. And then the fourth part is a project that I think would spend about $1 million to do a quick build of bike lanes that would connect Jones Valley Trail from 24th Street to 20th Street. Currently, that's the location of Rotary Trail. Of course, Rotary Trail is pedestrian only. You're not supposed to have bicycles on Rotary Trail, but it's a key connection from Jones Valley to Railroad Park and points west. And so this grant would spend some of that $1 million to do a quick build, kind of a sort of a concept for what bike lanes would look like along First Avenue South between 24th Street and 20th Street. And then the larger portion of the dollars would be used to actually design construction documents for a trail system that would connect from 24th Street along First Avenue South all the way to 14th Street in front of Railroad Park, which is a major connection for our pedestrian transit system. So it would become a shovel-ready project that would hopefully be grant ready in the future. And that's all I have.
Okay, Counselor Abbott, do you have any questions?
I did, but I forgot what it was. It's so sad. Maybe it'll come back to me.
You think a little longer and it'll come right back to you.
Yeah,
All
it
right,
probably will.
Madam Pro Tem?
Well, I did want to go back and ask, you said primarily the rolling stock would be within the Department of Public Works?
That's right. Public Work manages the city's rolling stock, and so, yeah, we would target aging vehicles. You know, typical lifespan of a vehicle is about 7 to 8 years. We have many vehicles that are way beyond that point. And that would really, it really benefits us in this grant program because we can demonstrate a greater reduction in greenhouse gases by replacing older rolling stock. I think this grant would look to replace about 160 vehicles, and they're distributed, based on vehicle type and need that's been identified within Public Works.
And is the choice of the use of the electric bikes? You say you're putting them down near Rotary Trail. Any thought of expanding that out as we're trying to connect a lot of the trails around the city?
Right, yeah, so the e-bike rebate program would actually be for an individual to buy an e-bike for themselves.
Okay.
And so, yeah, and so it's scaled such that, those with lower incomes would have a greater rebate and have greater access in return. Yeah, the system needs to be expanded, as you know, we're constantly working on that.
Thank you.
Okay, did you remember your question?
I did. It just takes longer. The housing that's been demolished by the city, we've been just demolishing houses like crazy. Does PEP have like maps that show where all the vacant lots are that are available so that you could use that with your transit-oriented development plan
Right.
to build where we've torn things down?
Sure. Yeah, as part of our planning efforts, when we do land use surveys, existing land use surveys, we go out actually in the field, windshield, old style windshield survey. And so not only do we look at the building, its condition, what the use is, but we're also identifying vacant sites and how they're being maintained or not. And so we have a property condition map that's part of that land use survey. So yeah, we have that information available. And then as you mentioned, we track all of our condemnations as well. And that information would be available to us.
Okay, and the reason I ask is that, number one, I hope somebody is keeping up with what we're demolishing. But if we're going to do new development and we've demolished all these houses in places that now we're going to have to go mow the grass, it seems like filling them up with a house really fast would be better. And of course, I realize there's nothing fast here, but still, sometime in the near future, so that we don't spend all these millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars cutting grass that we never get reimbursed for.
Yes, ma'am.
I think the head of Public Works told me one time we got back 10% of the money we spend mowing other people's grass, which is pretty sad. So, but anyway, that's what I'm interested in, is making sure that we're focusing on backfilling all the stuff we've demolished or that other people have demolished, just so we don't have all these additional expenses that we really don't need to be wasting money on like we do. So
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
What's my question? So we're replacing 160 cars for DPW.
That's the grant intends to replace 160 vehicles. I think they're distributed, about 40 of them would be compact cars, 40 of them would be a sedan crossover type. I think we identified 35 full-size pickup trucks and 45 sort of passenger vans. And so all of those would be replaced with an EV, and then we would buy 40 chargers, to be able to charge the vehicles.
Okay. If I say I want one, so I was trying to see, try to get one for us. But when I was at the NLC conference, Madam Pro Tem and I just came from, there's and I told Chief Mitchell about this, but there's a program with the IRS where we can actually get money back for converting our cars for electric vehicles. So you get up to $7,500 back per car, and you get up to 30% back per charger. So
And that's for an individual?
yeah,
Yeah.
per car, yeah. So, hopefully we can apply for that as well, so we can get rewarded for being, environmentally friendly. So, do y'all have any more questions? Okay. Was there a motion?
Counselor, I will tell you that we can have electric cars if we want them, we just have to pay for them out of our council budget.
Well, it helps
But
the
I'm sure
environment.
that we can buy whatever we want, except probably not a Tesla.
That's all right.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, the item passes. Thank
Thank you.
you. Next is item 10. So this is it Brunk Auctions? Yeah, under which, Brunk Auctions will provide services involving the consignment for sale of surplus Birmingham Museum of Art items of art, and the city will pay them the sum of 5% of every dollar of the sales price of items sold. Okay?
Good afternoon, council members. I believe I know you all, but for anyone whom I've not yet met in the room, my name is Graham Betcher, and I serve as Executive Director of the Birmingham Museum of Art. The Birmingham Museum of Art's collection has been growing since 1951, nearly 29,000 objects and counting. We are the beneficiaries of a tremendous amount of generosity in this community. Every work of art in the collection is either donated or purchased with donated or raised funds. That said, as a collection, it is a living entity. Not only is it growing, but occasionally it needs a little pruning, a little tending. And so we have a process which we call deaccessioning, which after serious review and consideration, so this is a process, this current process before you is nearly 5 years in the making, which enables us to ultimately sell works in the collection that have been deemed no longer a good fit for the collection, either because they have major condition issues and a cost-benefit analysis wouldn't permit them to be restored without it costing more than the value of the work. They are by artists who are little known or not known at all, or they were gifts of works that probably should have never been accepted in the first place because they're not really a strong collecting focus for the museum. We are able to see with precision when works have been shown, and we know which works are being used. And so whenever we deaccession something, those are the criteria that we look at. And our curator, in this case, Curator of European Art, corresponds with experts in the field, and then we solicit proposals from, in this case, 3 different auction houses, Bonhams, Brunk's, and Doyle. And Brunk gave us the most favorable terms across the board. They were willing to reduce their standard commission from 25% to 5%. They're absorbing the costs of insurance, photography, marketing. We've used Brunk before for deaccessioning that this council has approved, and we've been very pleased with the results. They're in the region. They're in Asheville, North Carolina, and they've proven to be a great friend, actually. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are making money off this, but they've been a great friend to institutions. In fact, the Brooklyn Museum just completed, just last week, a major round of deaccessioning through Brunk, and increasingly they've been preferred by museums precisely because of the good terms that they offer. All of the funds that we generate through this sale, if it is approved to go forward, will be used solely to purchase new works of art. If someone donates something that is sold, their name will appear on a new acquisition. So those donors will get credit in perpetuity, and we feel that's only right. And that's according to our bylaws at the museum, that we can't use this money for some other purpose, that it may only be used to enhance our current collection for the benefit of the people of Birmingham. Any further questions?
Well, you gave a good description, but, Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you very much. I thank you for explaining the process. When is the last time that we've done this before? Is this the first?
I believe the last time, well, there have been 2 recent deaccessioning projects that have come before you. I believe the last one pertained to decorative arts, which were also deaccessioned through Brunk. I'd have to go back and look and see exactly when that came forward. The other one that maybe would come to mind more readily because it received a lot of press, the other circumstances under which we deaccession items if they are items that need to be repatriated to their lawful owners under the, in this case, the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. And that is something you will probably hear from me regarding in the future because it too is a living process. And as we learn more about objects in our custody, we have an obligation to disclose things to tribal groups throughout the country and to work with them to make sure that justice is served, so to speak. So.
Thank you. Second question, so part of the bid process or the process of selecting who would be the auctioneer for this, do you have a list of the items? So you already have quantified what items will go up for sale or be a part of the auction that's already been determined? Can you tell me about how many items that might be?
Yes, in this case, the items that we wish to deaccession are 17 in number. There are some other, according to the city statute which governs deaccessioning, that only covers accessioned items. There are some other objects. Periodically, someone will offer us a gift to the museum, and we know we don't want it for the collection, but we know it has value. And if the donor agrees that it could be sold to enhance the museum's collection and to use that money to buy something we do want, we accept that as property. It's not accession, and I believe there are another 3 works of property that Brunk would also handle, which are not on the materials you receive because they fall in a kind of different lane.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Councilor Abbott?
I don't have any questions. You did an excellent job of explaining it to us. And I think I've been through one other of these accession. So I didn't even know the museum ever did that until that first one.
It's fair. We try to keep it fairly rare by design. We take it very, very seriously, and we don't want to make any mistakes. And that's why it's a slow and steady and deliberative process. So, and it is, before it even comes to this point, it is reviewed by the curators. I sign off on their proposal. It then goes before our Committee on Collections. They review the findings. It goes before a vote of our entire board. And only if the board agrees does it come to City Hall, and then ultimately with your agreement before City Council as a whole.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Was there, I don't think there was a motion. Was there?
I don't think so.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Next is item 11. This is dealing with the Jefferson County Family Resource Center. The city is the recipient of a grant award from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Bureau of Justice Assistance for the FY23 Office of Justice Programs Community-Based Violence Intervention and Prevention Initiative Grant in the amount of $1,998.01 for a term of 3 years. JCFRC shall expand the resource program reentry services to youth ages 16 to 19 and develop and implement plans to increase restore program services to include youth ages 11 to 15. The goal is to reduce criminal activity involving young people residing in the city, mental health services, and a lot more.
Good afternoon. I'm Adrian Stitt. I serve as the Director of the Grants Division in the Finance Department. And I also have with me Ms. Carrie Burton, who is the Executive Director of Jefferson County Family Resource Center. You want me to go into the grant? Okay, we received this grant in October. We were awarded a grant. This is the Department of Justice CVIPI program. We partnered with Jefferson County Family Resource Center with this grant. They were wrote in as a sub-recipient to expand their current Restore pilot program. If you recall, the city has already partnered with Jefferson County Resource Center to assist those youth that are 16 and 19. So this program expands that to youth that are 11 to 15-year-old, where they're providing case management and other wraparound services. If you want additional information about the Restore program, I'll let Ms. Carrie Burton help answer any questions.
Oh, yes, Ms. Carey, do you have anything you want to say?
No, ma'am, I'm just here to answer any questions y'all may have.
Gotcha. Well, I'll let committee members, do y'all have any questions?
Well, I did
Madam
want to
President.
ask, I noticed that this one, you said you're expanding it to a lower age group, 11 to 15. And any type of different intervention you might do with this group, or will it require any other type of, I want to say, behaviorist or different type of individuals that are going to be working with the program, or is it basically just extending the age group?
Well, the needs of this age group
Can you
are-
talk to the mic?
Sorry. The needs of this age group are significantly different. 16 to 19-year-olds, you can put in non-traditional educational programs, GED, credit recovery, that kind of thing. 11 to 15-year-olds require a little bit more knowledge, especially around special needs, 504 plans, IEPs, those type of things. So yes, as we are recruiting, we are looking for people who are seasoned in that field.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Counselor Abbott?
Now, the young people that are involved in this, these are coming through the juvenile justice system, or they're just coming from schools, or where do we get them?
Initially, the pilot program was for court-involved youth. And as it has gained momentum, we have opened it up and allowed community referrals from our partner agencies for, especially with this demographic that this expansion grant provides, anybody who is at high risk. Anybody can I don't want to say self-select, but they can call us and ask for interventions. And what that usually looks like is we run workshops on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the youth are allowed to come in. We use a specific curriculum, and we follow that pretty much to the T.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So how many youth will we be able to service then, the 11 to 15-year-olds?
Well, I believe the grant calls for 120 youth a year. Now, that said, at our pilot, we were supposed to serve 120 youth. We're at 140. And we touched more than 700 at our workshops through, like I said, they're twice a week. So about 140 of those receive full wraparound case management services. The pilot turned 1 year old on March 1st. So capacity is a real issue for us, and this expansion grant allows us to hire 4 more coordinators, which will significantly ease the burden that we're kind of feeling right now.
Well, I just want to say thank you for what you've done, and thank you for your grant work. I really think a pivotal time period for children really is middle school. You can remember most kids, they're still, bright, bushy-tailed, especially the boys. And then you see about the end of middle school, they have changed significantly. And then when they go to high school, I remember a lot of the boys I went to school with, that's when they started to change, was 7th grade, 8th grade. So I'm excited for this program. Madam President, you have any questions? Okay. All right. Well, is there a motion for approval?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. That item passes. Thank you. It's always good to see
Thank
you,
you,
Ms.
ladies.
Gary. Item number 12 is for the city to complete a grant with the United States Department of Homeland Security FEMA assistance for the FY 2023 Fire Prevention and Safety Grant Program in the amount not to exceed $25,336.80 for smoke alarms to high-risk areas throughout the city, and the city shall provide up to $4,471.20 in matching funds. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Julius Purifier. I serve as the Deputy Chief of Birmingham Fire and Rescue. We're here today to ask permission to apply for a grant to extend our Operation SAFE program. I have Captain Reynolds with our Public Education Department. He's going to speak on our Operation SAFE.
Good afternoon. As introduced, I'm Captain Orlando Reynolds of our Public Education Division. Operation SAFE is our initiative that we use to go into these homes with the citizens. It stands for Stopping Accidental Fires Through Education. Every third weekend out the month, starting in March, we go into the city, into the homes of the citizens, and we install free working smoke detectors in their homes. Again, throughout the year, we will install approximately 1,200, maybe a little less depending on the weather, smoke detectors in the home. And again, it's a very effective program. We would love to continue this initiative.
Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Yeah, my only question was, where are the high-risk areas throughout the city? Isn't it everywhere?
Well, yes, it's throughout the city that the smoke detectors are available, but what we do through data, where we have recent fires, say we have 25 house fires in Ensley, we're gonna make sure we go over to that particular territory and make sure the citizens over there have working smoke detectors. But every month, we are in a different part of the city.
Okay, but it's not like, we're not dividing the city up into little
No.
pieces. It's really citywide.
Citywide, all the citizens in Birmingham have access to smoke detectors.
Well, anybody who forgets that they're cooking something on the stove is at high risk.
Oh, yes.
So thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you. Glad to see the program and you're going for another grant. Currently, the program is working right now, or is this just an extension of the program? You said it's every third weekend.
Yes, it's been in operation approximately maybe 3 to 5 years, counting COVID, obviously, but we've seen a tremendous reduction in house fires and things of that nature. So the program is working. We're just trying to extend our efforts.
Okay, and I know we used to have, I know it's based on their ability to come to the meetings, but we don't have firemen that actually come to our neighborhood meetings consistently. So I just want to know, as a counselor, what can I do to help to know? Is there a way we would know what neighborhoods you're in on that third weekend? And if it's something I could get out to residents to let them know? Or how's that advertised?
Yes, ma'am. We are on all social media outlets. We also send in advance where we're going to be to all the 99 neighborhood presidents. A lot of times we get a lot of feedback to them, and obviously we are on the television with it as well.
Perfect, so they really have that communication. Okay,
Yes,
thank you, that helps. Thank you.
Council Abbott, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Thank you. Next item is item number 13. This is a professional services agreement for a period of not more than 3 years with the law firms of Culpeper and the Law Office of Yarborough LLC, the attorneys for legal representation related to interchange fee litigation. They will represent the city on a contingent fee basis, and the total amount of attorney's fees owed by the city shall not exceed 10% of total recovery. The city will also reimburse the attorneys for reasonable costs and expenses, which shall not exceed 25% of the total gross recovery in favor of the city, and this percentage will come from the fees recovered by the attorneys and are not to be charged as additional fees.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Shelby Yarborough, and I believe I know most of you, but for those I don't, I'm Shelby. And I am the founding partner of the Law Office of Barrett Yarborough LLC. And I have partnered with Culpeper and Associates, and we would like to represent the city in this interchange fee litigation. This litigation is involving the overcharging of fees for every debit and credit card transaction that is made through the city. The city pays a fee for that. And so there is a current litigation pending, and we believe the city has standing and an avenue for recovery. And so we're asking permission to enter into a contract so we can investigate, see if the city does have a recoverable amount. If so, then we would revisit with the city to see about moving forward regarding that claim. But that is the gist of it.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
Not really, no, thank you.
Okay. Council Abbott?
Yeah, the only question I had was, I assume that the city keeps up with how many times people use credit cards and debit cards. So what you're saying is that the credit card companies are charging us for more uses of credit cards and debit cards than we really did.
They charged you too much per transaction. They overcharged the city on each transaction.
Oh, So do they do that to everybody or just governments that aren't paying attention?
Quite a few people for litigation.
So they're doing it to businesses and like everybody?
Yes,
Well, it's a good way to make extra money, unless
it
you
is,
get
assuming you
caught.
don't have to pay it back.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. That's all.
No, I think this is great. I think the pandemic marked the highest amount of credit card debt that people have had. So I think this is great because it really puts these companies on check because it's not right for them to really just overcharge people. I'm excited that y'all are partnering with us. I know Star Cold Pepper very well, and I know you very well. So I think this is going to be a great collaboration. So,
Well, thank you, Madam Chairman.
all right, is there a motion for
I
approval?
move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. The item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just love that lawyer lingo and talking. Thank you.
Next item is item number 15, and this is a contract for sale of real estate for property located 4330 Florence Street and 4305 Etal Street for the purchase price of $290,000.
Good afternoon. I'm Renier Johnson. I serve as Project Manager, Department of IO. The item before you this afternoon is the sale of city-owned property in Valley East 3 Industrial Park. It's an auto car in the amount of $290,000. That cost is based upon appraised value, and that will help them to expand their current business. Their capital investment will be about $2 million, and it's just a straight sale, no incentives involved with it.
Councilor Abbott, do you have any questions?
No, but if you'd explained that in the written part, we wouldn't have had to make you come in here and tell us that. I mean, it just didn't tell enough information for us to have any idea. I'm not familiar with Florence Street and Utah Street, but if it's in an industrial park, of course we want to sell it. So tell whoever writes these things up to be a little bit more explicit. We'll save you time.
Understood.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem? Okay, I don't have any either. Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. The item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to tell both you and Griffin that we were receiving some training with the economic development, a group of us that are working, and you all got great kudos from your representation of the city of Birmingham. So thank you for the work that you do.
Next item is item number 18. This is a project funding agreement between the city of Birmingham and C Model Data Incorporated, under which C Model will undertake a project to relocate from California to Alabama at 1500 First Avenue North, number 21, Birmingham, Alabama, 35203, making capital investments in the location of $120,000 for equipment and bring 80 new jobs to the city. The city will provide financial incentives under the RISE program in the amount of $50,000. Okay.
Thank you. I'm Griffin Lassiter. I serve as the Senior Project Manager in IEO. OCA did their usual great job of stealing my thunder when they wrote the submission, but basically this is a California company wants to move to Birmingham down on First Avenue North, and our money, our funding from RISE, this is exactly what the RISE money is intended for, would go to help with significant equipment costs that they have in relocating to Birmingham. I have with me Tisha Cable, I think. Yes, who's the president and CEO of the company, and she's going to explain to you about her company.
Hi, my name is Tisha Cable, CEO of C Model. We are a decision intelligence company that uses artificial intelligence, decision intelligence, and a company's data in order to help them navigate complex business decisions, specifically around growth. What else can I say?
Oh, I thought you had more. Okay, Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
Well, thank you. Very excited to see this interest in relocating to the city of Birmingham. You said 80 new jobs. Can you give us some idea of the skill set and the salary that will be offered?
That's right. I'll use an example. We've already hired 3 people in the area, all with an average salary of about $85,000 a year. So most of the jobs are going to be in engineering and customer success.
engineering, and what was the other one? I'm sorry.
Customer success.
Customer success, thank you. All right, thank you.
Okay. Counselor Abbott?
I want to be a customer success person.
You know, I was just thinking that.
Doesn't that sound good? I mean, no, I don't really have any questions. I'm just glad y'all are coming. I did want to ask if we're providing $120,000 for equipment, you don't,
50,000.
oh, there it is down there. Well, like the relocation of $120,000, am I reading the wrong, for equipment and bring 80 new jobs and then financial anyway, so y'all don't have any equipment now, or it's just too much trouble to bring it from California?
Yeah, we'll be making most of these purchases here in the area. We didn't relocate with much. Yeah.
And then you're gonna hire all those new people, and they all need new equipment?
That's right. We will hire them over the course of time.
Okay,
Yep.
good, thank you.
Okay, I don't think I have any questions. Is there a motion for approval?
Move
I
the
move
item.
approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. The item passes. Thank you. Okay, next item is this the last one? Item number 20, down payment assistance agreement between the City of Birmingham and Neighborhood Housing Services of Birmingham, under which Neighborhood Housing Services of Birmingham will be awarded funds under the CDBG to administer the citywide Ready to Own Birmingham program, which will assist with down payment assistance and closing costs. This is for a term of 1 year and amount not to exceed $600,000.
I move approval.
Second.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to see you all again. Corey Stallworth, I serve as Senior Deputy Director in the Community Development Department. And so before you today is two changes to our down payment assistance program. If you recall, made a presentation to this body over a month ago about us launching that program. And so we made two changes to it, one being increasing the contract amount for neighborhood housing services that will be administering the program. How we had it structured last time was that neighborhood housing services would get a fee for leading the program, and we would cut the actual down payment assistance checks in-house in finance. And so we decided to change that, to streamline that, to put all of that through neighborhood housing services, where they will still do the counseling and all of that, but they will also make the grants available in-house at neighborhood housing services, and community development will reimburse those down payment assistance grants. And the second change was, in order to avoid any conflict with our state law regarding our employees receiving assistance through this program, we made the change to have the employees to become eligible, those eligible employees, to receive grants through our banking partners. So if you recall, we had Valley Bank, Regions Bank, First Horizons Bank. And so employees that are interested in down payment assistance can still apply through neighborhood housing services. But Judy Woods, I'm sure you all are familiar with her, works with the city, will work with those city employees to get down payment assistance through our banking partners. And so those are our two major changes for this program. Wanted to make sure that it was streamlined as we launch this, and we know that it'll be a lot of folks interested in this program, and also, again, be in alignment with our state law.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you very much. Glad to see the changes that you're moving forward. And of course, we always want to ensure that our own employees have these opportunities that other companies are offering within the community. Quick question. So the point of contact really originates from whoever you are assuming the loan from, or you're trying to get the loan from for the property. How do you get, how do you get in this cycle or in the program?
Yes, that's a good question. So that's something that we thought about. So we want to make that a one-person point of contact. And so that will be through neighborhood housing services, but everyone will have to apply online. We'll make that website available when we launch the first week in May. And so you'll apply through our neighborly portal, and then neighborhood housing services will basically funnel the citizens that apply to the right person as well as the employees that apply to Mrs. Woods.
Thank you.
Counselor Abbott?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Well, is there a motion and a second?
We already have one.
We already got one? Okay.
We
All in favor?
finally did it first.
Okay, well, all in favor say aye. Aye. That item passes. Thank you, Corey. There isn't any old or new business. Okay. The next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will be on Monday, April 8th at 3:30 p.m. Is there a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, very efficient.